Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to this episode or this series. Welcome to Any Student World. And today we have a very excited guest who is going to be hanging out with us. I cannot wait for you to jump in and hear all the fun conversations we're going to have today. Hi.
Hello.
Oh my goodness. See, this
Long
dentist
time.
work is looking good on you. Hey! I've
It's-
been itching. I was like, when you get here, you do the full introduction. So full disclosure, I've known Daniel since freshman year undergrad, right?
right.
Yeah. We're now old people. It's been too long. Let's not say exactly how long that has been.
That's the long time.
So introduce yourself in your own words. Who are you? Where are you from? Fun facts about you, what you currently
So, original Igbo boy, about boy
okay.
to be precise.
Okay.
Dorothy, a lot of people Dorothy know me now. Dorothy, and then we went to school in South Carolina. Claflin State is the same thing, Orangeburg. And then I joined the Howard. I've always been a HBCU guy, and then finally graduated from dental school. So, and now a dentist, been practicing for 2 years now. So it's been a long journey.
Congratulations. It's
Thank
been
you.
a long journey, and we're going to unpack some of that. So, one of the reasons for this series is to actually, put a face to success when it comes to being an international student and professional. And I know for me, I have benefited from seeing people who walked the path that I'm interested in walking. And you are doing amazing. You started out
Thank
as an
you.
F1 student. And so just sharing bits of your journey for people who will be listening today or watching later, who would learn from you, be encouraged by your own journey, and know that it's possible to come from
It
being an
is.
aqua boy to being a full dentist in America.
I'm telling you, it was long journey. I mean, it's the way I look at it. It's more. It's tough, but it's possible. It's a lot of work. It's a lot of failures, a lot of success. It's never a straight journey. So I knew how many times you had to apply for schools because that's where it all started. Applying for schools, you get rejected, you try again, all of that stuff. So you finally get into one, so you know you can't come and slack. You have to be on top of your game. So that's how it all started. And then another thing is plan. You have to see, you have 3 year plan, 1 year plan, 5 year plan. All of this matters. So all of these goals, then you can celebrate your short victories. Oh, you've got A this semester, you got a 4.0, you got a 3.5, good. Next semester, let's get a 3.7. So that was just, and then also you know your cycle. I've always knew where I wanted to be. So I just kind of like, it took me a long time. It took me a long time, but you just stay focused and get going. So for in terms of dental school, most of the things people don't understand, you don't really have to have your degree for you to apply for dental school. Because I had issues. I was a nursing major, biology, chemistry. I was just confused. I didn't know where to go. So when I decided, I just took the DAT, and then I didn't even get my undergrad degree, and I had to switch to dental school. So
Hmm.
it was the exam was pretty tough. So everything is very much who do you know. So networking, know who was in the school, ask questions, then they give feedbacks, and then we just.
So let's go back to the beginning. You already mentioned that you were not always clear about wanting to become a dentist, right?
Mhm.
So at what point did you know that that was the path you wanted to take, and what was your kind of reasoning behind it?
Well, I've always seen myself in a white coat. So that was always how it's always been in a situation where I'm always trying to help. That's why even at first I was like I tried nursing, and then dentistry was more of like is a mix of a little both. You have that good lifestyle, so and I just liked it, so I switched to it and I stick with it. I think mostly once you've taken the core science, the core science classes, math and science, biology, all of that, then anything that you need to prepare for the DAT, and once you're done with that, you can take the exam and apply. And then most schools also have the curriculum what they need. And then once you are science inclined in terms of your courses, you should be able to get all the classes done in your first or second year, third year.
Okay. So your recommendation is for students to kind of check out the schools they are interested in and what prerequisites they need to have by their second or third year, correct?
Right.
Okay. And what was preparing for the DAT like? How did you go about actually preparing for the exam? Because I know that standardized tests are not my strongest suit. So how did you navigate that? Yeah.
Well, the DAT, I started a little bit early from like my third year. I just got the book, the Kaplan I was reading, taking questions, practice tests, asking questions. So all of that played a factor into the success. So it was really tough. And more also, it's not just about the DAT, recommendation letters, your GPA, all of that, your personal statements, all of that really matters too, because my DAT wasn't really the best one, but I had good recommendation letters from SC State, so that also helped out too.
Okay. All right. What about choosing schools? How did you know you wanted to go to Howard?
Well, Howard has always is always Howard. Howard is always number one. So even the undergrad, there's a lot of opportunities from Howard itself, the location and everything. So, and I just went to Howard and I found a good family over there, and then they helped me out through the way.
Okay. Okay. Now, and this is a very interesting subject, especially for us that are not U.S. natives. The money that goes into professional medical education. How did you navigate that process of deciding what to do, tuition, cost of living? How did you plan or how did you figure out what to do?
Well, most of the things, the fees are really expensive. So loans is all you have to do. You have to take a risk on yourself, take out those loans at the end, hoping that you be successful and then you pay out. So I took quite a lot of loans for me to get here. So, but it's worth it in my opinion. Now fees are go. I mean, sometimes from schools in New York, they're doing like a free tuition. You have to look into all of that. There's a lot of scholarships available too. So I always say, whenever you get an interview, always ask for scholarships. Always ask. You never know you never know. It never hurts. Always ask, and sometimes they'll be able to get you some.
Okay. All right. So walk us through the process from when you clicked submit to when you were actually sitting in your first class as a dental student. Like, what was the application process from start to finish?
Well, everything is now being done on the computer. You have like an online account, and then you have like an online number, like a DAT. That's pretty much what you use all through. Once you register for the exam is just like the SAT kind of. The exam, they can see the schools that you apply to can see your scores and the breakdown of everything. And once you apply, you have to select the schools, but the schools are expensive. You can pay up to $200 per school. So it's good to apply for each school. So you have to choose, make your research, make sure choose. I normally choose the best ones that I really want to go, the ones I know I have a high chance, and then a little bit in between, then I apply. And
did you have to do an interview for the school?
There's also an interview, and a good thing at SC State, what's his name again?
Dr. Stooks.
Dr. Stooks, yes. So when I told him I was going for interview at Howard, he made me buy a new suit, everything. I came to his office and gave me like a mock interview like 2-3 times, asked me all the questions, walked me through everything. That really helped out. That really helped out. So I always recommend doing like a mock interview for whatever interview you're going to, job, school. Just sit down, have a couple questions. It will help calm your nerves down a little bit, and then go from there.
Have you heard anything about Dr. Stooks? I was thinking about him recently.
I know. I was. It's been a while. I feel like if I go back there, it will be all new faces. So that's why I haven't really been back. But he was good. He was good.
He was really good. Like he wanted like a lot of us to like go to professional medical programs. So he was pushing like I can't count how many times like medical school, dental school, he was pushing people.
I sent him an email, I think after my freshman year at dental school. Sent him an email, and then we talked for a little while, but that was it.
So now you're in dental school, right? In Howard. So you went from undergrad directly to Howard, right? What was that process, that transitional process like for you to go from being an undergrad student to a graduate student in a medical program?
That was the big one for me, because it's always about transition and how you adjust. So the first year was, I mean, it was rough because then my classmates at dental school, most of them, some of them, they already had like a doctorate degree, they had their masters, they had PhD. Some of them, they were like already in the working field. They had all this professional experience that I didn't have. So I was coming straight from undergrad. And then, you know how these are straight as an undergrad. Your undergrad is a little bit chill, relaxing, we can. But in dental school, you don't have time. Your weekends, you're studying. So it was rough at first. I was doing really bad. I had to make that adjustment really quick. So another thing comes with mentorship. The right friends that you have, my friends from undergrad, I have to cut them off because now I know I'm in a whole different circle. So my friends changed. I just had to focus, and I think that was the main thing that helped me pull through because it was a big change. Most of them went to like Ivy League schools. Some was already a doctor. Some of them they already did some international countries, so the competition was really rough. Me just coming straight from undergrad at SC State, so you had to really be on your A game to pull through. It was a whole different ballgame.
Wow. And I can also imagine like Orangeburg, South Carolina, where we went to school, is pretty small. To kind of go from there to
Yes,
Washington, D.C.
that was a big jump. Oh, it was.
Wow. Okay. All
And
right.
it's too the distractions and everything. It was a big adjustment.
All right. So from the point when you started to when you actually started to figure out, okay, this is what I need to do to be successful, right? What were those things? Like if you could break down some of the lifestyle changes you needed to make or how you lived as a student so that you could be successful in dental school, what were some things that you did?
Well, I joined some professional organizations that kind of helped me out in terms of study groups. My friends staying up at the library, and pretty much that was and just studying a whole lot. And social time, I had to cut it down like 50%. So all of those helped out in reviewing, watching videos, asking questions, mentorships, and in the field of dentistry, so you also have to see some hands-on. So I would like shadowing some dentist outside work. I would just go to his office to watch him, ask questions, and those really helped out to see some improvement.
Okay. Okay. What about the boards? Preparing for the boards, taking the boards. That's usually a process that hits so many people hard. How did you
Yes.
how did you navigate?
Yeah, the board was tough one. I took mine twice because I felt if I didn't pass through the first time, so it was.
Let's pause there a little bit because a lot of people watching this keep thinking that your journey has to be perfect. And I think it's important to highlight that. Like it's okay to take the exam twice. It's
Yeah,
really okay. It's not the end of the world. So if
I
you're
felt it.
watching,
Yeah.
write that somewhere. You can still be successful if you have to do something more than once. Okay, go ahead.
Definitely. I wasn't successful the first time. I had to take it again. So, but the boards is just about preparation. For me, I don't know what it was. I just jumped in there and I felt that I had to go back and read and study, ask questions. Talk to those who have taken it before. Just it's more of there are a lot of resources out there that you can use, but you just have to prepare repetition over and over again. Know really what you're doing, and then it's professional school. Sometimes you don't have to really be in class, but you can try as much as you can to be in class so you can learn and study and be really good at it.
Okay. And what resources did you use, especially the second time around when you were preparing for the boards? Like, did you have to pay for a course? Did you do self-study? Like, what did you do that really helped you or that made a difference the second time around?
There was a lot of study groups even online that I joined where they kind of like ask questions over and over again. There was some studies, some question banks that you can buy online. It just gives you like a quiz, preps you over and over again, so you really know what's the questions all about. Most of the questions is the same. It just comes in different forms. So the questions, that's what I'm saying, it's just kind of the same, but they just switch it back and forth. So that way, you just once you know the material, you really know everything involved.
Okay. All right. All right. Do you go through some kind of match process or residency, or what happens after you graduate from dental school?
There is it's both. You have like the match process where you can go through, and then you also have the residency, which is it's optional for dentistry, which is another good thing. It's optional for dentistry, but it's always advisable. If you're not that confident and want to graduate, you can do residency. But the match program, it's yeah, if you're trying to specialize, you can do the match program. But for me, I did a little bit of residency, and then I moved straight into practice.
Got it. Okay. So tell us about today. What do you currently do? What's a typical day for you as a dentist?
A typical day, a busy day for me is you go in the morning, you can like review the cases with your assistants, you see what's going on, what you have in your schedule, see if any openings, make sure the patients are really confirmed that they're coming. Then mostly for me, I just go to the x-rays, see what's going on, make my diagnosis, all the questions that I have it just preparation, be ready. And then when the patient comes in, we just go straight to work. Sometimes my DAs, my dental assistant, they have the rooms all set up. And then they'll just come and give me a breakdown. Okay, so is ready. This is what we're doing. And then we go in there and then we just go straight to work. So it's pretty basic. It's just I have a good team behind me, so they already know how I work. So we just come in there, we straight go.
That's pretty cool. So are you part of like the dentist group, or in a hospital? Like, what's your setup like for practice?
So right now I'm running a practice for an associate. So he owns the brand, he owns the company, but I'm one of the dentists that manages one of his offices. So that's what we're doing right now.
All right. What is so far? What is your favorite part of being a dentist?
The money.
As a confirmed evil man now.
I think it's more of the lifestyle. The lifestyle, it's more of a relaxed lifestyle. Sometimes most dentists work 3-4 days a week, and then it's not. It's kind of like a mix of like you have time for yourself. So it's the lifestyle for me.
What is your favorite procedure to do as a dentist?
I like surgery, mostly extractions.
Oh,
Yeah,
right.
like surgeries, implants, full mouth. That's what I like. I know it sounds weird, but that's what gets me excited when I go to work.
Okay. Looking ahead, where do you see yourself going? Like, what's your dream or your plan?
It's in works, but the whole plan is to set up my own practice. Get everything going. Set up how I want and control everything. That's the long term goal. Okay. And maybe extend back home, but it's a goal, but that's where we're going. So hopefully that's gonna come to pass.
What about you also started an organization, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Tell us more about it.
So that was also part of the dental group that I was starting up. So whereby we set up a couple of dental practices, and then mostly fresh graduates from dental school, we take them in there, try to train them and teach them. Just a little bit more like a residency, but they get paid a little more money for it.
Oh, that's good. What's the idea behind the program or the organization?
It's just because I know when I came straight out of dental school, it took me a little while. It took me a couple while for me to kind of like get a hold of the game, like understand how they account in the business part of it. Because they just teach you in school how to do the work, but when you come out, there's also a business part of it that we don't know. So it took me a little while for me to get there. So if I can bridge that gap, then that would be much helpful for the fresh graduates from dental school.
That's very, very important. Now, not sure how much you know about this, but it would be great if you could shed more light. So let's assume that someone studied as a dentist outside the United States, in Nigeria, Ghana, somewhere, and they want to practice in the US. What is the pathway for them to get to where you're getting to? Because I know they don't necessarily have to go to dental school again in the US, correct?
Yes, there's some international dentists that take, I don't know the full process, but I know they take a couple exams and then they just come in their third year. They do like 2 years and then they can qualify and take a license. Get like the degree and start practicing. So I know a couple of them, but I know you come back in 2 years, so it's possible. but I don't know the full process behind it. I can find out and I can get back to you, but it's really possible.
Absolutely. That really helps. Also, another thing, right? When you think about, you know, being a Black man or being an immigrant in a healthcare profession, right? What is something that has stood out to you from your journey or something that is a big takeaway for you so far?
Um, it's just I don't know, but it's some kind of satisfaction when your patients kind of walk in and they're like, "Oh wow, okay, really, you're my doctor," and I'm like, "Yes." So and then some people, okay, yes, 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 like they just get excited, and that gets me worked up too. So I've seen and there's always going to be health disparity, how people feel more comfortable having known their doctor is black or with the same skin color as them. So for me, I enjoy it. So so it's I don't know. It's fun. It's fun being a black doctor and also to both races. So I enjoy it.
And do you think that going to a HBCU dental school made a difference in your journey as a Black doctor versus maybe going to a PWI? Do you think it had any effect on the way you were trained or what you're seeing right now as a dentist? Did it help at all?
Definitely. It helped out a lot. A lot of things that I didn't know, some communities, some programs that they talk about at SBC. So it played a big role because then I had some friends who SBCU is just it's I mean Howard is just where it's at. Everything goes through Howard. No disrespect, but Howard is where it's at. So everything that comes along, I had to know about it, and I was a part of it. So and then most of the professional organizations that I had, it was also more of like a minority organization. So we train us, they teach us about all this awareness. So when I left Howard, that was right now I'm in Ohio. From DC to Ohio, it was a whole different city again. So I was already prepared and ready and know how to act in such situations.
Hmm. That's an interesting move. Tell us more about it. Like, why did you pick Ohio versus, I don't know, the other 49 states?
Yes. So after dental school, you have to get your license. It's a whole another process. So the licensing part. And Ohio was kind of like I had a couple of friends who were living in Columbus, Ohio. So Ohio was kind of like a little easier, the licensing process. So I just applied and then I applied to other states, but Ohio one came out really quick. It was the first one. So I just moved to Ohio. The cost of living is good. You also have to check your taxes. There's a lot to put into all this. So most of the times you don't know about this when you're done in school. You're just trying to graduate. So all of that, I did the research and I was like, okay, Ohio is a good place to be. So I moved down there. And the business part of it too is good.
Okay. When you say the business part is good, if you think about a young Black man who is also finishing dental school, right? What are some things they should keep in mind when they're looking for a job or, a place to start out their career?
You think more about long term, because dentistry is more about long term. Because when you get that reputation, you have to stay where you are. So when you're looking for a job, think about the demographics. Is it younger people? What you're looking at too? Is it more older people? So you look at where you want to be because some people are comfortable treating younger, but the other people treating older people. So you look at the demographics where you want to go, and also most of the time, if you go to more like the rural areas, you can get some kind of scholarships from the government in terms of student loans repayment. So also put that into consideration, and then decide the business part of it. Also look at insurances, look at the average household income, or check all those out before you know the kind of location you want to set up. Also, are you going to buy? Are you going to work for someone? Are you going to work for a hospital? So all of that too.
Okay. And I know that practice is different depending on where you kind of go to, right? So, why did you choose your current setup for practicing versus, say, working in a hospital?
Well, most of the hospital dentistry, it's most of the hospital opportunities. It's not readily available at that point in time because people just go and they get referred back to dentistry. Like if you go to the hospital, most hospitals don't have a dental unit.
Hmm.
If you go, they think it's a teeth-related problem, they'll give you a referral or go and see a dentist. And excuse me, if your insurance is whoever your insurance covers, then you go over there. So that's why dentists say right now it's more about you build up your own, you stand up in there, and then people just come to you. So,
Got it. Okay. All right. Now, you did talk about long-term goals, doing something back home in Nigeria, and I know that it's still kind of early in your journey. But what do you envision, or what do you imagine being able to do as the years go by, or in the future at home?
probably like I know in dental school I've always liked doing like the mission trips. People go to Jamaica, people go to all of this, like a team of young dentists to just go over there, do maybe for like a week or two, do some community service, free dental works. And then I just feel like maybe if we can set up something for Nigeria, why not? There are a lot of Nigerian dentists, Nigerian doctors, Nigerian nurses. So it should be something, you should love to do. Just pick a state, go down there, do some pre work for a week or two, and then come right back.
Okay.
And for dental school, you get community service for that too. So I don't know. I don't know about the medical students.
Okay. Yeah, I know that with the different schools, like it's almost like sometimes they have similar rules and some other times they have different rules for what they do and what works. So that's important to know that it actually contributes to your education if you're able to do things like that as a dental student.
Yes,
Did you have those opportunities at Howard or did you seek them out by yourself?
Howard provides it. Howard provides such opportunities, and most of the time if they come up, maybe the dental school, they come to the schools and they talk about it, and then you pass the information. They send emails out, and then if you're interested, you apply, and then they pick you, you go. So
Okay.
it's there are a lot of opportunities like that. It's just a matter of is most of the time we get to do it during your holidays. So it's just something that you willing to sacrifice your holidays for. So, but people do it, and the opportunities are really limited. So.
Wow. Okay. All right. So let's talk about financial planning and debt management, not the favorite topic of of anybody, right? So now you are, 2, 3 years out of school, working, being an adult, getting married. Like, how does me, for example, I don't know how that works, but how does school loans, when you've taken out the bunch, play into all of this? And what should people keep in mind? Either when they are taking loans or when they are navigating life outside school.
Budgeting is everything. You have to budget even while you're in school. If you can pay back your loans while in school, start making those payments back. And then it's everybody has to be an adult. You have to learn the easy way or the hard way. So you have to save up. You have to live as broke as possible till you can start making enough money. So scholarships come back again. Apply for a lot of scholarships. Try to borrow as little as you can. Look at all the rates that you're getting it for. Look around there.
Oh, one of my questions to you is what is or what would you consider the biggest lesson from your journey so far? So remember the time you touched down in Colombia or wherever the first airport was when you moved to America, right? And thinking back to today, what's the biggest lesson from your journey?
I think the biggest lesson is about preparation and persistence. You have to set goals and you have to stick with them.
Mm.
No, people are gonna tell you. No, I don't know who's gonna tell you it's gonna be like a straight, easy process. You have to go through ups and downs. That's how it's supposed to be. So when you go into those ups and the downs, you have to stick with it and go through the whole process. That's just how it's supposed to be.
Okay. Okay. And if there's somebody watching who is either in Nigeria and says, I want to be you in the next 10 years, what is your advice for them?
In the next 10 years, well, you have to, things a lot of changing now. Dentistry is also changing. So you have to stay up with the game. Right now, a lot of dentistry that was the past 2 years is different. Implant is number one. So every dental dentists are doing implants now. So if that's how you want to go, you have to do your research.
We have been talking to Dr. Daniel and talking about his journey from, starting out as an F1 international student 10, 11, X number of years ago, and him being today a practicing dentist and, living what he considers a very good lifestyle. So we have been chatting with him. If you do have any questions or contributions to our conversation, please. Yes, absolutely. We will be posting this. Someone just asked a question. The answer is yes. So you can watch and catch up on parts of the conversation that you missed. So yes, the answer is yes. It will be posted on our page. And please feel free to also join the conversation when you watch. All right. A few more minutes to go. Okay. All right. Well, this has been beyond amazing. We'll definitely try to get Daniel again. The internet was not our friend today. And so hopefully the next time we'll have a much, much better experience. A heartfelt thank you to Daniel for joining us today and sharing his journey and his story. Thank you to everyone who joined us, joined the conversation, gave us some love and encouragement while we were chatting and talking. And until I come your way again, I'm your girl, Winie. And Winie Student World is a place where we love to uplift, encourage, support. Just be a pillar and a support system for the international students and professionals who are far away from home, trying to do good and trying to have a bright future. And so we're just a community and an organization that wants to help put fuel into that bright, beautiful flame in your lives. So thank you for riding with us. Thank you for showing up every time that I show up. Thank you for engaging, connecting, sharing, and just being this fab group of people. I hope you have a lovely weekend, a lovely rest of your Saturday and tomorrow, and an even more amazing week next week. All right. I will see you again very soon. Until then, bye-bye.